So now, for his second appearance, please help me welcome the Reverend Everardo Gonzalez.
So what is freedom? What does freedom really mean to us? What does it actually mean to us today? There are some people who believe that freedom is a choice. And there's some people who believe, or actually they don't believe, that we were born to be free. Yet, those two perspectives are valid perspectives. Because if we're choosing to live our lives based on the outer limitations, then we can see how freedom becomes a choice. And if we're choosing to live our life based on what the world is telling us to be, then we were not born to be free. At the same time, there's another perspective. And that perspective is the perspective from the heart. The one that we were all born to be. The one that is the truth of what we were born to be. If we believe that our higher source is love, if we believe that our higher source is filled with unlimited possibilities, if we believe that our source is freedom itself, then we are love, we are filled with possibilities, we are an expression of freedom. And I know that is to be true because we are more than what our physical form tells us that we are. We transcend that physical form. And we know this to be true because we have so many wonderful examples here on earth, living and who have passed on, that have demonstrated that truth. One of the examples is Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela was bounded, physically held captive in a prison. And even though his body was held captive, his mind, his heart perspective was freedom. He believed that he was born to be free. He believed that his people were born to be free. He believed in that so much that he actually became physically free. He believed in that so much that the people that he served were free. He believed that so much that we had that possibility today to recognize that power of freedom within ourselves. We're not bounded by limitations or bounded by what others tell us that we are here to be. Are we? And maybe there's moments in our lives that we feel that freedom is a choice. And maybe there's moments in our lives where we feel that we were not born to be free. And that's okay. That's part of our humanity. And it's okay for us to feel that way at times, but always remember that we were born to be free. There once was an elderly grandmother who took her grandson to the zoo. And there was this big, long line of children. And in that line, they stood in that line because the little boy wanted to get his face painted. There was a local artist who was painting their faces. And the little boy had all these freckles on his face. And there was a little girl standing next to him and looks at him. "Oh my gosh! You've got so many freckles on your face. There's no space to paint." So the little boy puts his head down. The grandmother leans over and says, "You know, when I was a little girl, I always wanted to have freckles. Freckles are beautiful. I love your freckles." And the little boy looks up. "Really? Really?" And the grandmother says, "Of course. Can you tell me just one thing that's more beautiful than freckles? And the little boy looks up. Wrinkles? So what's beautiful about that story is that it would have been easily for the grandmother and the child to be bounded by another point of view, by another limited idea. It would have been easy for them to be bounded by their emotional reaction to something that wasn't true. It would have been easy for them to be bounded by their physical appearance, by their freckles, or by their wrinkles. But yet, they were both able to reveal their freedom. They were both able to see beyond the physical form. They were both able to create possibilities. And you're probably wondering, what possibilities? I didn't see any possibilities in that story. Yes, the possibility to love again. The possibility to experience joy again, the possibility to connect with another, to connect with ourselves, and not disconnect. Speaking of children, there's children in our sanctuary today, in our space today. May we allow them to stand up so that we can honor their presence? Children are some of our best teachers. And they're some of our best teachers because they're able to see beyond the physical form. They have that natural wonder in their eyes, that natural wonder in their heart. They can see a box, and they see beyond this box. They see beyond the physical form. Oh, look at my spaceship. I'm going to Mars. I'm going to Jupiter. I'm going to Pluto. Mommy and Daddy, do you guys want to come with me? Oh, come on, it'll be fun. Or, look, Mommy and Daddy, I am the next queen of... the next queen of England. Oh, you got me there. I meant to say king. So, what if we were to take that same freedom and apply it to the next challenge in our life and see beyond that challenge? What if? What if? Or how about that opportunity that we're too scared of stepping into? What if we were to see beyond that physical form? I know our children can naturally do that. Can we do that ourselves? In Scripture, it says, in order for us to enter the kingdom of heaven, we must become a child again. So what does that really mean? What that means is that we are naturally made of the same essence as our higher source. And in order for us to enter that kingdom of heaven, which is the kingdom of infinite possibilities, we must return to being the child, to being the state of mind in which we can see beyond the physical form, see beyond that physical box. So we have that same power. We just have completely forgotten that we have that power to wonder. And the reason we have forgotten is because we get stuck on an idea of fear that we learned in the past that we're not good enough, or an idea that we're projecting in the future based on fear that we do not have enough. when in reality, we have everything we need within our hearts. Would we all agree with that? So, behind that place where we get stuck there because we have been taught to get stuck. And we've been stuck because we have heard many times two words. Those two words are can't and don't. We hear them so many times over and over that we have actually believed can't and don't. Psychologists have said that when we hear can't and don't over and over again, then we associate guilt and shame. What's even more disturbingly is that we tell those words to ourselves, right? And when we say those words to ourselves, we actually believe them even more. Wow. I remember once I was around 4 or 5 years old and my mother sold makeup door to door. So you can just imagine what that kitchen table looked like. There wasn't much food on the table, but there was all this makeup. Oh my gosh, I was in the kingdom of heaven. I couldn't wait to get my hands on that. Oh, don't get me wrong, it's not that I wanted to wear the makeup, it's that I wanted to see what I can do with it. And this was my moment of seeing beyond the physical form. So there were all these lipsticks of different colors, these nail polishes of different shines and glosses, and there was this powder that women used to set their faces with at that time. So I grabbed all the lipsticks and I created all these drawings. I rubbed on every surface I can find, the floor, the wall, the nail polish. I looked for all the toys my little brother had from those Happy Meals from McDonald's. I could care less about toys, but that nail polish, I started to paint over and over, made them beautiful. And that powder smelled like weird flowers that I've never smelled before. Oh my gosh, I couldn't wait to change the color or the smell. So I grabbed my grape juice and I decided to make glue. So I poured it into the powder and I'm stirring. I'm having so much fun until here comes the father, here comes the mother. You can't do that. Boys don't play with makeup. Don't do that. You're not a girl. Can't, don't. So you can just envision what that does to a child's spirit, right? When you hear can'ts and don'ts over and over again, we can see how that feels to us today when we feel that over and over again. So the next question is, how do we express that wonder in our lives? Well, let's go to our best teachers, our children. When they're in that state of wonder, they're not thinking about the past, about that chocolate chip cookie that I ate 20 minutes ago, or they're not thinking about the future of how they're going to get more chocolate chips. They're thinking about that now moment. What can I do with that box right now? Wow, what if we were to utilize that same freedom in the next challenge? What can I do with this challenge right now and experience beyond the physical form? What can I do with this opportunity that I am too afraid to step into right now and see beyond the physical form? Wow, what if we can do that? And I know this is possible because I have seen it in some of our heroes, some of our personal heroes. One of them, for me, has been my Uncle Manuel. My Uncle Manuel had a couple of weeks to live. He had a heart condition. He was getting a lot of treatments. And he was able to see beyond his heart condition and know beyond the physical form, there was a community who loved him. There was a family who loved him. There was a nephew who loved him. And through his remaining time on earth, he chose not to be limited. He chose to express his freedom. So he taught me how to swim. And each time I go swimming, I think of his presence, but I also think about the lesson that he taught me, which is to be free. And because of him, I'm standing here sharing a message of freedom. in Pandora box, which is a Greek myth. It's not the music for the millennials out here. Pandora did exist before you were all born. As a matter of fact, it existed before we were all born. So in the Greek myth Pandora box, Zeus gives his daughter Pandora a box and gives the husband the key to the box. And he tells them, whatever you do, don't open the box. What do you think happened? She opened the box. And it wasn't so much the key that opened the box, it was the wonder that opened the box. And from this box flew all these things that humanity has never seen before: fear, guilt, shame, violence, sickness. But the one bug that was left in the box is a bug that Zeus had placed in there, and it was unlike the other ones. It was a beautiful bug. And Zeus gave this bug so that whenever humanity is experiencing tragedies in life, they can focus on one beautiful bug. And that bug was called hope. Hope. So what does Pandora box have to do with our message of freedom? Well, the word Pandora means the gift of all gifts. The box represents our heart. So we can say the gift of all gifts is in our heart. And what opens the heart is wonder. And when we open our heart with wonder, we can have hope. We can experience freedom. We were born to be free. So if someone tells you that freedom is a choice, allow them to have that in their box. If someone says that we were not born to be free, allow them to have that in their box. And whenever they're ready, whenever they're wanting to open their box with wonder, they'll know that that wonder that they're experiencing is the wonder they get to see in all of you. We were born to be free. Born to be free. Born to be free because we are the power that creates possibilities. We have the power to level any field of resistance and know that we can see beyond the physical form. And I invite you to stand in your power. So let us stand and place your hands on your heart as we affirm, I am the power, of freedom itself. I have the power that transcends the physical form. As love, as hope, and as joy. And so it is. Thank you so much.